Then I speak Spanish. Señor Secretario. Yes, yes, official, yes. Señor Secretario.
Secretary General, Miss Deputy Secretary General, esteemed friends of the entire world, from the government of Argentina, we agree that it is very important to address financing for implementing the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda and to tackle climate change. That is why we value the convening of this meeting by the Secretary General, and we thank him for this invitation and support his efforts. We will chair the G20 next year, and that is a great opportunity to ensure that the global agenda can be seen from a renewed perspective, bearing in mind especially the need of developing countries. Argentina will present a view from the perspective of the South. With our partners, we will share our country's vision and that of our region and the challenges and opportunities. In this context, we need to reflect on the relationship between the 2030 Agenda for Development and the Group of 20, focused on a global economy. As was mentioned by the Secretary General when he invited us here, this must be a harmonious process. In the G20, we understood this in 2016. Xi Jinping, the president at that time, proposed incorporating the 2030 Agenda into the work of the G20. And this was through a plan of action that President Merkel continued the following year, Chancellor Merkel. And Argentina is following along these lines through institutional approaches and the methodology of the G20. The presidency of China and Germany achieved significant progress, and this is a path to continue. With regard to specific themes of sustainable development and climate change, during the presidency of the G20, Argentina will seek as a starting point to build on what was achieved in Hamburg and, of course, build on previous achievements. We will seek consensus among all member states and guests in order to find points of convergence to help us to achieve acceptable results for all and to move forward on substantive progress towards these objectives. Argentina is working on a set of priorities currently. This will be discussed during our chairmanship of the G20, and there are points of convergence of all G20 members and developing countries in particular that will be addressed. These priorities will be conveyed to you by the government of Argentina in due time. Esteemed guests, based on our country's experience and objectives, it is possible to recognize the importance of ensuring an adequate link between the 2030 Agenda and its goals and addressing economic challenges that the world faces today. Indeed, last year, President Macri said at the opening of the General Assembly session that the Argentine government's objectives were in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. And especially in moving towards the goal of poverty zero, that is our national objective. For our government, achieving zero poverty requires, most of all, generating jobs and ensuring economic growth. The 2030 Agenda is a global goal to eradicate poverty. That is only possible through sustainable economic growth and quality employment for all. The link between the Sustainable Development Agenda and the work of the G20, therefore, is vital. It is important. Through the Argentine government's actions, we are seeking to tackle macroeconomic issues, the most pressing ones that often are linked to a closed economy, which isolates us from the rest of the world. That is why it is especially crucial especially during the current context, for the G20 to continue inspired by the goal of an integrated world, a world in which countries cooperate, where economies are linked in a context of equity, and international matters are addressed and tackled multilaterally. The Argentine chairmanship of the G20, therefore, will aim to preserve and strengthen this objective. This is intended to eradicate poverty and in line with commitments made in the 2030 Agenda. It is our hope that we can have the cooperation and support of all of you in this endeavor. Thank you very much.